Are we seeing the dawn of a new kind of architecture? Will homes be designed and built that bring clean, unlimited energy within reach?
It's a different way of thinking, a different way of designing, a different way of building.
Can the immense power of the sun be tapped to provide all the creature comforts we've come to desire?
You can live your life exactly the way you want to and do it all with solar power.
The Solar Decathlon, held in Washington, D.C., is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Energy. 20 teams of college students design and build homes that must be 100% powered by the sun.
We joke that the reason they call it the Solar Decathlon is we had to do everything 10 times.
Part of the goal is to overcome misperceptions about solar design.
Some people think that solar homes have to look very modern or stark or something like that, but you can have a totally traditional looking home that's got solar features and solar hardware in it, and it's indistinguishable from conventional homes, except for the bill that they get at the end of the month.
I think events like the Solar Decathlon do help to advance the technology of solar and green building and high performance building, just because it makes the public more aware of what's happening out there. I still think there's this misconception that a green building has to have dirt floors or be made out of mud. That is not the case. A green building will look like any other building that's out there if you wanted to.
The teams represent Spain, Germany, Puerto Rico, Canada, and 16 American universities. The participants spend more than a year building their homes on campus, testing and debugging. The houses are then taken apart, transported, and reassembled on the mall. The first link in a long chain of challenges.
We had to build everything to take it apart and ship it here, so you had to think everything through 3 times. Does this have to come apart here? Can this stay here? Can this be glued? Can this be screwed? It just really added to the complexity of the home.
Each school must follow certain guidelines. The houses can be no larger than 800 square feet and must still contain all the elements of a normal home. Functioning kitchens, living areas, baths, laundries, and even an electric car, all powered by solar energy alone. Each team had a vision of what a solar home could be.
One of our core values in the design of the project was not to sacrifice design for the technologies, but to integrate them and make them work together so they become harmonious. It's an attractive aesthetic, it's something interesting as well as technologically advanced.
The University of Maryland dubbed their home the Leaf House, inspired by nature's ability to use solar power.
We saw the leaf as nature's ultimate solar collector, so we wanted to mimic the leaf in that way. And so both mimicking it, but also kind of alluding to it in different features in the house. On the interior, we have the ridge of our roof is pulled away, and there's a skylight there that kind of emulates the stem of a leaf.
Lawrence Tech's house was named Aloe Terra, reflecting their approach to creating homes that can heal the earth.
So what we're hoping to do is through showcasing our design, sustainable architecture, and some of the ideas that we've used to get people to act more environmentally responsible so that their small changes can have a larger impact on the earth.
Austin called their design Bloom House, with an emphasis on a dynamic, balanced approach and a nod to the plants of the desert.
We do have a giant agave on it. We figured it was pretty important to have plants. They had built these beautiful planters for us, and that was always part of the design, to have them wrap around part of the house. So we really wanted to bring some greenery. It seems to fit with the idea of clean energy and solar power. If you're blooming, you're feeling delight by where you live, I think plants are a big part of that for most people.
MIT calls their house Solar 7, a reference to the 6 other solar houses the school has built. The first one was completed in 1939. As the concepts behind these solar structures are developed, time is also spent on practical considerations. How will the houses be transported to the decathlon site? Many of the houses were built using modular construction to make the transit easier. But the Austin team had a different approach. Their house is designed as a big trailer. It's towed to the decathlon site as one large piece.
Our house traveled here from Texas 1,500 miles over land via truck. We've decided to bring a single unit on a chassis up here as the easiest way to bring a house to the mall, as opposed to doing something in sections like many of the other teams. Construction starts at midnight on the first day and runs 24 hours a day for the next 9 days. Sleep is a luxury.
I got a little bit of sleep last night between hours of 5:30 a.m. and 8 a.m. this morning.
Solar power is a less than perfect technology, so the houses have to be extremely energy efficient. Choosing building materials wisely is critical to the ultimate success of the home. Lawrence Tech chose structural insulated panels, or SIPs. These panels are typically made by sandwiching a core of rigid foam plastic insulation between 2 structural skins of oriented strand board.
We went with SIP panels because they create a more rigid frame than normal stick-built homes. And we needed this rigid frame because we were moving so far and we didn't want it to shake around too much, but also it has about 3 times the insulation value of a typical home.
Lawrence Tech added exterior cladding made from recycled paper that helped deal with a problem created by the tight SIPs construction.
We decided to go with a rain screen system for our home because structurally insulated panels that make up the framing of our home can be susceptible to mold and mildew. We wanted some sort of extra defense against water. So we went with Scalite because it's a really thin and durable material. It's actually used for skateboarding ramps.
Reuse and recycling is a decathlon theme. The University of Cincinnati used salvaged metal for the skin of their building.
The exterior of our house is made from scrap metal from a roofing manufacturing company. All the different colors are from different roofs that they had made at one point or another.
While many of the homes take on a futuristic look, MIT leaned toward the more traditional.
MIT has used a lot of materials that you associate normally with residential construction. So they've used wood siding, they've used a painted hardy plank siding, which is extremely durable.
The Texas house features a more industrial approach by using a steel skin accented by a vinyl wrap, often used on buses and trucks.
So the materials aren't inherently associated with residential construction, they're associated more with commercial construction. And so it makes the building very modern.
On the 10th day, a solar village has arisen. All of the houses have their solar panels facing south to capture the maximum amount of energy. South-facing windows are shaded to reduce passive heat gain, while windows facing north collect reflected and thus cooler sunlight.
Building orientation is the most important because what you want to do is locate most of your windows on the north and the south side of your building because that's where daylighting works best. You really don't want as many east-west windows because they contribute to bad things like solar heat gain.
Daylighting and building orientation demonstrates that use of solar is not just about using new technologies. Some of it is about going back to ideas that have been around for thousands of years.
When you go back to ancient civilizations, they were usually oriented to take advantage of the heat of the sun in the wintertime. So that's one of the things we've lost in the